Hello everyone, this is Jay Wengrow, and welcome to Think Like a Software Engineer, episode 16. When a developer runs into an error and starts Googling to find an answer, one of the most frequent resources that pops up is the website Stack Overflow. If you're not familiar with Stack Overflow, it's a forum where anyone can ask any programming-related question and anyone can give an answer. Sometimes many people give different answers to a single question. In this particular Stack Overflow question in front of me, there are 28 different answers. So how do you know which one is right? In truth, there's no certain way to know which one is right until you try the advice and find which one actually solves your problem. And to that end, even for this particular question that has 28 different answers, it would be a mistake to discount any of them. Your mind should remain open to the possibility that any one of them could be right. However, trying all 28 answers can be time-consuming, so it helps to know which ones to try first. So let me walk you through some of the aspects of the Stack Overflow question and answers. So on this Stack Overflow page, we have the header, that's the name of the topic. So in this case, the name of the topic is Facebook OAuth. The domain of this URL isn't included in the app's domain. Then we have the actual question, which starts with, let me first start with saying I've searched for an answer, yada yada. I'm trying to set up a Facebook OAuth, blah, 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 blah. And this person even provides screenshots. So a couple of notes here. The 201, that is the number of upvotes that this person received for asking the question, which means that a lot of people like this question, which probably means a lot of people face this very same issue as well. The star 44 means that 44 people favorited this question. That means they sort of bookmarked it for later. Right below the question, we have tags, which indicates the different technologies involved with this topic. So we have Facebook, Laravel, Facebook Graph API, OAuth, and Laravel Socialite. Below that, we have the person who asked the question to the right in that blue box. So D-Angel. It's important to note when the person asked the question because technology changes at a fairly fast clip. This question was asked in May of 2016. I am recording this video in April of 2019. So it's been about 3 years since this question was asked. Also, this question was edited by a fellow named Jeff. Sometimes a person can edit a question to make it clearer. Below that, we have comments, where we have people asking questions about the question. It's useful to read the comments, especially the comments on the question. Now, below that, we have 26 answers. I misspoke when I said 28 answers before. I apologize for that. Now, below that, we have the answers. So these are all the answers, and if you scroll and keep on scrolling, you can see there are many answers, a grand total of 26. So let's go back to the top answer. The way that Stack Overflow sorts the order of the answers is that the answer with the check mark comes first. So as you can see, this top answer has a check mark by it. Now, what does the check mark mean? The person who asks the Stack Overflow question has the right to award the checkmark to just one answer. In most cases, the checkmark indicates that the person who asked the question found that this answer is the correct answer for them. So when D-Angel asked this question and this person gave this answer, D-Angel most probably tried this answer and it worked, so D-Angel awarded this answer the checkmark. So now we're going to start creating a list of factors that you should take into account when deciding which answer you want to try first, and we'll list these factors from most important to least important. So one factor we'll talk about is the checkmark. The checkmark does carry a lot of weight because that is the indication that the asker found that this question actually solved their problem. So the fact that this answer successfully solved the problem for the asker, which is at least one person, is a good thing and therefore carries a lot of weight. Now, I highly recommend that you read the comments to the answers, because just like there are comments on the question, there are comments to the answers as well. And we can actually see that the first comment to this answer is a comment by D. Angel, who says, I just now saw what you said about you changed the URLs of an existing app. That's exactly what happened. And I guess it caused a new client secret ID to be generated. It sounds like D. Angel is indicating that this answer successfully solved D. Angel's problem. Now, the second factor to consider is the number of upvotes that an answer received. So 63 people upvoted this answer, meaning 63 people agreed that this is the correct answer. Now let's scroll down a little bit and see something interesting. We can see that the second answer actually has 187 upvotes, roughly triple the number of upvotes as the previous answer. Now the way, again, that Stack Overflow sorts the order of the answers is that the first answer is always the checkmarked answer, but then all the remaining answers are sorted by upvotes from highest to lowest. So we can see that this answer has 187 upvotes, the next one has 47, the next one has 30, and you could see that it continues to go in descending order. So let's go back up to this second answer. The factor of upvotes is a very weighty factor. So the checkmark is definitely important, but I would actually say that the upvotes is more important. And why is that? Because the upvotes is the approval by the general community. It's the number of people who think that this is the correct answer. Now, the checkmark means that the asker, a single person, decided this is the correct answer and it solved their problem, which is good. But if you take into account the collective number of how many people think it's the correct answer, the fact that we have 187 people versus just 63, to me means that this second answer actually is probably more likely to be the one to work for you. So in weighting upvotes versus checkmark, upvotes, in my opinion, is generally weightier. Now, of course, it also depends on the number of upvotes. If this second answer, say, had 64 upvotes, so the first answer is 63, so then they're neck and neck roughly in terms of upvotes, and then the checkmark might be the decision factor. Now, if the second answer had 2,000 upvotes, then I would be 99% sure that the second answer is better than the first. It's also good to read the comments for each of the answers that you are considering. Now, when we go down to this third answer, it's 47, so that's pretty good. I would call this the third in the running because it's the third highest number of upvotes. It doesn't have a check mark, but it does have something interesting. We could see that there is this plus 100. That is known as a bounty. A bounty is when another Stack Overflow user gives as a gift out of their own volition 100 or a certain number of their own Stack Overflow points. So in this case, one particular user liked this answer so much that they just gave as a gift 100 of their own points to the person who gave this answer. Now, this just means that this answer is liked by one particular person. So I'm putting this down as the weakest factor. Now, as we continue to go down the list, we have a 30 question, an 18 question, a 7. Pretty much, it is safe to assume that the answer that would work for you is probably going to be in the top 3 in this particular case. We have a 63, a 187, and a 47. So if you're going to start down rabbit holes trying answers, I would stick to these 3. Now, let's talk about another important factor, which is the date of the answer. It is possible that, say, this second answer that received 187 upvotes worked for many people at the time that it was answered. But maybe since technology changes so quickly, perhaps this answer is now out of date. So let's look at the dates at which these answers were provided. Maybe we'll start with the first one. So the one that has the check mark, the answer was provided back in May of 2016, so 3 years ago. The second answer was provided in also May of 2016, so it's a 3-year-old answer. The next one was provided in August of 2016. So these are all answers that are roughly 3 years old. Now, something to look at is that in the remaining answers, are there any that are much more recent? So the fourth answer, the one that has 30 upvotes, was provided in February of 2017. So it's only 2 years old. It is possible, and something to take into account, is that maybe the first 3 answers were much better for that time. But perhaps more recently, this answer is the one that should be considered. Let's take a look at some of the others. Also, okay, this one's October of 2017, a little later. We have another 2016. Here's one from April of 2018. So it's only a year old. We also see here that a person provided a comment saying, "Thanks so much for this. This fixed my problem." So this is something to consider. You may want to try the first 3 answers first, but then if those don't work, you may want to just jump to this one. Even though it only has 6 upvotes, it is much more recent. Plus it has someone who commented and said that this solved their problem. So there is some verification there as well. So the date is another very important weight factor. Finally, one other factor to consider is the reputation of the people who provided the answers. So each person who provides an answer, you can see their reputation score by their name. So this person, Cosmin, who provided this answer, has a reputation score of 1,902, which it's hard to say whether that's strong or weak. It just is what it is, but you have to look at them relative to each other. So let's go back up to the top. The top checkmark answer was provided with someone who has a reputation of 797. 797 to 1,000 and something is pretty similar. But take a look at this person who edited this answer. This person has a reputation of 21,000. So that's an entire different strata. We have here for the second answer, a person who has 1986 reputation. This one is 726. So while the reputation is the lowest factor on the list, it is still a point to consider. So now that you are armed with this list of factors, deciding which answers to try first should be less overwhelming. Remember that there is no way to know for certain whether an answer is correct until it actually works for you. Okay, that's it for this week. Thank you for joining me, and looking forward to seeing you again next week.